Hey guys, it's Drew here. I'm taking my afternoon stroll. I typically take a walk in the afternoon. I like to get that vitamin D. But on another note, I wanted to do this blog because I wanted to talk about an issue that I just come into contact with all the time. And today I saw the news where there was a guy who felt that he was facing extreme racial injustices and prejudices, and he just felt so bad for himself that eventually it drove him to record the shooting of a coworker and the cameraman. So it was a news anchor and a cameraman. Okay, I don't remember the guy's name, but I'm sure you guys, if you're looking up the story, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, now I posted that this guy is a loser. I posted this on my Facebook that this guy is a loser. He's a clown. He's an idiot, and he's driven by an extreme ideology that is not beneficial to himself. And I just said that he pulls the race card, so, go lo and behold, after I did that, I had a bunch of, friends that share the same skin color as me trying to justify or loosely rationalize what this guy did. And it just completely disgusted me. I won't mention any names because I'm not trying to out anybody. I ended up defriending one of those guys. But the whole point is this, okay? This is the way I look at it, okay? Before you start calling me an Uncle Tom, or you start implying that I'm an Uncle Tom, or that I grovel before, people like white people and so forth, before you start assuming that I'm an Uncle Tom, that's not the way I look at it, okay? That's not the way it is. The way this is the fact that I'm 30 years old, okay? You got to put yourself in my shoes. I'm 30 years old. I've never experienced police brutality before in my life. I've never experienced that kind of a thing. Have I experienced prejudice? Yes, but who hasn't? Who hasn't? Everybody has. If you're Asian, if you're Indian, even if you're white, you experience some kind of prejudice. It's just what happens in a melting pot. But I've never experienced police brutality, and my experience has never been the typical black man's experience in America. I'm telling you, that's just what it is. That's my experience, okay? I see it like this. I have 80 years left on this planet at most. And I'm not saying I'm going to live until 120. I'm saying that hopefully I'll live to 100 years old, and my legacy and what I leave behind will last an additional 20 years, okay? So I have 80 years maximum. I do not have the time to, in this period, in 2015, start fighting battles that were fought in the 50s, in the 60s, and 400 years ago. I just don't have the time to be doing it. So when I see somebody like me that looks like me, because the media is going to jump all over this. When I see somebody that looks like me, they don't look exactly like me to have my facial features, but somebody with the same skin color execute two innocent people over perceived racism and record it, I think it's my duty to point out that it's a heinous crime. I mean, it's wrong to shoot two innocent people, period. But I also had to point out that his ideology is idiotic, and it led him to make an idiotic decision. And it's true. I've never met somebody who has a racist ideology of being oppressed from white people that is successful. I've never met anybody like that. Never. Not once. And I'm not saying this to downplay racial inequalities that do exist. I'm not saying it to downplay systemic oppression that does exist. But I am saying that I'm 30 years old. I'm telling you right now, in my experience, I have never experienced that kind of oppression before. I haven't, okay? Things are going pretty well right now. I admit race relations have gotten worse since Obama took office because, I'm not saying that Bush was better than Obama, because I think they're pretty much equal when it comes to economy, when it comes to other things, but the race relations were not this way. So I see it as a top-down operation. I think the government is trying to stimulate racial division, so I just called out this crime for what it was, okay? There was no reason to kill two innocent people, and then, lo and behold, I had people who, my black friends, were trying to basically silence me about it. And to me, it's like, it's shocking. I don't serve any kind of race or any kind of community. I serve my family. I serve my loved ones. I serve brothers who I designate as brothers. So understand this. If you're a white person, you're an Asian person, you're an Indian person, no matter where you come from, You are not my enemy unless I designate you personally. Unless I, Andrew Upabi, designate you as my enemy, you're not my enemy. Okay? I don't see people who are of different races as the enemy, like most people do, like the person who was commenting on my post does. Okay? I also want to point out that not everything is about race. Certain cultures have different ways of doing things, and so there may be conflict sometimes. There's some cultures where thumbs up is disrespectful, but in American culture, it's a sign that, you know, you're doing good, you're A-okay. There's differences in cultures. You know, I went to a school where it was 99.9% Jewish, and I was the only black man. And I tell you this right now, I did not experience levels of racism there. I actually experienced a lot of acceptance, and I get along with a lot of those kids to this day. The most racism I experienced personally is from people who are just like me, who are black people. That's it. You know? And you know what? Maybe I don't share the same history because I know my ancestors, and my last name is African, and I have no slavery in my history. Okay? But I don't say that to put myself out as if I'm better than everybody. I just don't see the point in taking in all this racial propaganda. And I'm not saying propaganda in a way that it's not true. I know racial history, okay, but I just don't see in 2015 the point of absorbing racial injustice information when it can't possibly help you. It can't. I've known about all the racial stuff that went on in the past in the history of this country. I know about it. I'm not ignorant to it. But all I'm saying is that in my daily life, knowledge of that history does not help me. It doesn't help me. And there's many black people out there who feel the same way as me. I'm going about my life. I'm earning a living honestly. I'm doing what I got to do to make ends meet for my family and myself and my girl and everything. And you know what? And I got to deal with black people who are in the same, who have the same opportunities that I have, give or take. I got to deal with them trying to tell me that I got to adopt their negative mindsets. I got to suffer with them. I got to suffer in their misery. Why? For what reason? You know? So I get annoyed about this because you know what? It's not, they talk to me as if I'm confused and as if they have information to offer me that's going to better my life. You know? Like, I want to talk to Dr. Ben Carson. He's got information that can better my life. I want to talk to Kenneth Chenault, the CEO of American Express. He's got information that can better my life. I want to talk to Kenneth Frazier, the CEO of Merck. He's got information that can better my life. You know? But you sitting on your Facebook account and you talking about racial issues like you deal with it every single day and you being some kind of Al Sharpton, mini Al Sharpton, I don't want to talk to people like that. I don't want to know the Jesse Jackson Jr.'s. I don't want to know Jesse Jackson. I don't want to know people like that. There's nothing that they can do that's going to improve my life. So I don't want to know them. You know, and like it or not, some part of this life is about reciprocation. And you know what? I don't see those people as having any potential to bring value into my life. And it's not saying that I can't accept people that have no benefit of me or that have no benefit to me or won't provide any value to me. Because I can. I've been pretty nice to people who don't provide any value to me, you know, but that kind of negativity and racial predisposition and outlook and perception is damaging, and it led somebody to take the life of two innocent people. Okay, you guys gotta think about things rationally. You know, don't go out and start shooting people and think you're justified in doing it, because you're going to end up getting yourself killed. You may even end up getting your family targeted. You're starting a war that you cannot hope to win. That's what I think about. That's what I think. And it's for no reason, you know, for no reason. It's not going to make your life better. It's not going to make anybody's life better. So that's all I have to say today. I didn't want to get into this, but it seems like I had to. My point is that racism, it exists, but it's not always the cause of every disagreement you have with somebody of a different race. And that's it. I had to speak out on this issue. And that's it. Take it for how you want it.